welcome back, everybody. This is our Major League Baseball previews, and we are doing the National League Central and the American League Central today. You've got the regular Back to the Window crew with Scott and Scott, and then we're joined, of course, by Chris King. And if you're new to the show, I am Scott Steen. I'm the lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com. He is Scott Reichel over there on your far right, or stage left. He is my co-host every single day of our show, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And he is the senior handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com. And I'm joined in the middle. It's the Paul Lind of sports betting. He has his own show every day at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and it is called Just Parlays with Chris and Jim. And he is Chris. And who are you, sir? What's your name?
I'm not Bobby the Brain Heenan today.
Is this Bobby the Brain Heenan? There he is. And
because Greg the Hammer Valentine was busy, so
fair enough. He is actually Chris King. He is the master of parlays. He is the king of all parlays. So it's good to have him with us. We'll ask him for some parlays as far as the team totals and everything goes. So, as we mentioned, we're breaking down the Centrals today. That should be exciting. Little
question mark at the end.
Perhaps a little top heavy in both of those divisions, but
I'm Ron Burgundy.
We're going to talk about team totals. And we're going to talk about our favorites to win the division. I don't know how much excitement there's going to be there, but we'll see.
And the key word in that sense is favorites.
We'll break down the value and see if there's an underdog or two that might interest these guys. But before we do that, Tim Earl in the house. What's up, Tim? And by the way, Tim Earl is going to be joining us tomorrow as we break down the AL West and the NL West. So that should be fun there. Two of the, at least one of the better divisions in baseball. The AL West perhaps looks a little bit weak this year, but we'll again talk about that tomorrow with our pal Tim Earl. Of course, Tim, he has his own little show here on the Max Wagers Network, and that is 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. Game time decisions with is it decision? Tim, yeah, we'll have to ask Tim tomorrow if it's decision or decisions. I've seen it written both ways.
I thought it was decision, but
I thought there was an OS.
I did too, and then I saw it in our notes. It said decision, so we'll get the official word from Tim tomorrow. Of course, he is joined every day by Detroit Lenny and his twin brother Nick. So there you go.
Gotta lose your mind with Detroit Rock Lenny.
Detroit Rock Lenny. And check out all the other great offerings here at Max Wagers Network, not just our show.
Yep, he said game time decision, no S.
No S. There you go. Cool. Thank you, Tim. And
so whoever wrote the notes is now fired.
You can check out Midday Money every day with Sean Higgs. That's at noon Eastern time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Brings you the plus money, honey. It's Allie Burns doing her show, Morning Wood. Get it? And then us, then Chris, then us, then Tim and Lenny, etc. So
I know Tim was at the Hornets game last night watching the Nuggets pick up a 113-109 win. I'm sure he bet on Nikola Jokic to have a triple-double because that's his standing bet. So
third quarter.
He did mention that was a nice, easy rocking chair as it hit in the third quarter for the
yeah, well, I mean, Charlotte can't defend anybody.
Especially the center position.
Yeah, this is true.
Absolutely true. All right, boys. Well, let's get into it. Let's jump right in. We need to be out in time. Yeah, yesterday we kind of bled over into the into game time decision, so we will not do that again today. Apologies, Tim. Of course, Tim didn't show up either, so he didn't really care.
Well, so it all worked out.
It all worked out as long as we didn't make Tim mad. That's what counts. So let's start off in the Central. And the way we're going to do this, we're going to break it down. We'll start with the win totals and give our opinion on those, and we'll talk about the odds to win the division and break down any bullet points that we might have. By the way, please don't forget to like the video and don't forget to subscribe to our not only just our YouTube channel for Winners and Whiners, but our YouTube channel for Max Wagers Network as well. Jokic triple double Nuggets 3.5, and I got my Murray jersey signed. Big day. That's a quality day right there for Tim. Congratulations, buddy.
Even though I still don't like the Nuggets, but that's a different story.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's start with the Kings of the Central. It is the Milwaukee Brewers, minus 180 to win the division, 89.5. Is the win total there. Scott, I'll let you go first.
So once again, I shopped around. I found 88.5 for the Brewers, and that was at minus 115 on DraftKings. I like the over. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't. They have one of the best pitching staffs in the league. They ended up losing Garcia from the outfield. They did replace him with Renfroe, and they also got Andrew McCutchen, who will probably play, 70 games before getting hurt again. But still, they have a great rotation. We already know that. They've gone over this win percentage required for 3 of the last 4 seasons. They're the best team in the division. I'm going to take the over.
Okay. You've got that at 88.5. We got the over there. This is a team that has just too much trouble scoring runs. They're in the right division because they do have great pitching. Just to run through that staff, of course, you got Corbin Burns, the Cy Young Award winner, which if you listened to us last year, you made some money on Corbin Burns, and you made some money on the American League winner as well, Robbie Ray. We like both of those early in the season. Then Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta. Is Brandon Woodruff the best 2 other than Max Scherzer?
I was going to say Scherzer's definitely the best 2, because DeGrom, I'm assuming, is going to be 1. But I think Woodruff, for the last couple of years, has been the most underrated pitcher in the league.
Okay, fair enough. I thought there was going to be more there, but
yeah, I was waiting for that to carry on. It just sounded like there was
no, just in general, he's great.
I thought it was an ellipsis, and it was just a period. So
Burns took over for being the ace of the staff, but Woodruff's been a great pitcher for the last couple of years, and nobody really talks about him.
Yep, Freddie Peralta, who really came on last year. Adrian Hauser and Eric Lauer round out that starting rotation, and of course Josh Hader, great closer there in the bullpen. You got your setup man, Devin Williams, getting Boxberger
when he's not punching stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So, Chris, how you feel about that? You like the over there, buddy?
Sadly, yeah, because like you said, they're in the right division to not have a ton of issues because, let's face it, the Reds are terrible. The Pirates aren't any better.
Don't spoil the rest of this. Come on. We got a lot of teams to go through.
And the Cardinals didn't sign anybody.
Somebody's got to win games. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a battle of attrition. Somebody's got to win games. I mean, whether they can carry over winning the Central to having success in the playoffs is a whole different story. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about Lorenzo Cain in center field. He didn't play a ton last year. He's 36. I know Steen remembers him fondly from his days when he played, of course, in Kansas City. And who knows what you're going to get out of Omar Narvaez behind the plate. And Renfroe, as much as everybody talks about, he's a power guy. He also generates a lot of wind energy. So you have to wonder, will they find a platoon guy for him in that situation? Because nobody wants to see him bat a Joey Gallo-esque 190.
I'm assuming it's him and McCutchen that are probably going to rotate, but also you got to talk about Yelich, who's been kind of a mess for the last year and a half, 2 years.
This is true. He basically fell off a cliff after he won the MVP a couple of years ago. So it's like Scott said too, though, they have issues scoring runs, but at least they're in a division where that's not as big of an issue.
I'm hoping they can beat Tampa. They'll just find ways to win games 3-2, 4-3, and work their way to 90.
396 slug last year, guys. That was 7th lowest in baseball, and you remember how many bad teams there were. So that's not a great look for that offense. They did, like you said, they had McCutchen, they added Renfroe. We'll see. I think this is going to be an under team for me. Tim says I can't bet the Brewers at -180. I want to talk about the Cardinals at +230. And, we might as well do that right now. So we're all in agreement there on the team total, on the win total over.
I thought you said you liked the under. Or you meant game unders for the Brewers?
Game unders.
Okay, game unders. Yes. Okay, cool. So we all like the over for the win total. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think they are the best team in that division. And let's move on to the Cardinals. They got a win total of 85.5. And their number to win the division is +230, as Tim laid out. This is the Cardinals team that won 90 games last season. Chris pointed out they didn't do a lot as far as off-season moves go.
They signed Albert Pujols.
Yeah, they did sign, and that was that's a recent development. They signed him to a 1-year contract earlier this week, or at the end of last week. Chris, what do you got here, bud?
I don't see the Cardinals getting over this number. Like we said, they didn't sign anybody. Wainwright is 40 now. Carlos Martinez left. Kim went back to Korea, if I recall correctly. They brought in Steven Matz. But if you're relying on a front three of the rotation of being Wainwright, Miles Mikolas, who missed a whole bunch of time, and then Matz, you've got some issues in your rotation. I know they've got a good lineup, but Yadier Molina's pushing 40. Arenado didn't have as big of a year as I expected last year, and Goldschmidt's going to be 35. I'm not sold that what they did was going to help this team that much, and I'm going to lean towards the under. You have to remember they won 90 games, but they had a 17 or 18 game win streak in September, beating up the Pirates.
17-game winning streak, and they've still got a 13-game road streak intact, by the way. So
yeah, but how many of those were against the Pirates?
You always have
luckily for them, the Pirates are still in their division. So
right, but I'm just saying you're not going to win 17 or 18 in a row in September to get over a number.
Well,
necessarily.
And you talked about Mikolas being hurt. Flaherty was hurt as well,
and he's on the shelf right now with bursitis.
Right, so that's a lot of times that's a harbinger of bad things when you've got some kind of tendonitis, bursitis, any of your itises.
And let's not forget everybody was high on Alex Reyes a few years ago, and he's been a disappointment. Now he's hurt again with a frayed labrum, so who knows if he'll pitch.
Right.
Or if he does, how effective he'll be.
Yeah, I agree. Adam Wainwright and Yadier are about to become the number one all-time battery
catcher duo.
Yep. Anybody want to take a guess who they're going to replace?
One of the Necros, probably.
Nope. I'll give you a hint.
Somebody with Yogi?
It's somebody with the Tigers.
Ivan Rodriguez?
No.
I thought Rodriguez was a good guess because he was a catcher for an eternity, but he wasn't mostly on the Tigers.
Chris is either thinking really hard or we've lost.
No, he completely.
There he is. There he is.
I'm just trying to think who was catching for the Tigers back then.
So, Mickey Lolich is the pitcher.
Oh, okay. So you're going back to the '60s then. So that's quite a ways back.
And I thought it was freehand, and I don't think it is. I think there was somebody else that caught in the '60s. So
I at no point would I've gotten this. So
no, I was surprised it was Mickey Lolich. I didn't realize Mickey pitched that long.
Yeah, well, he pitched all the way through 75 with the Tigers, and then he went to the Mets for a year and San Diego for 2.
Oh shit, I'd forgotten all about that.
I'm just trying to see who was catching. Yeah, Bill Freehand was there for a while.
Was it Freehand in the '60s? I thought I read.
Yeah, Freehand started in '61, then he didn't play in '62, and then he was there from '63 to '76.
Okay, that's who it is.
Yeah, there you
go. Very good, guys. All right, so this Cardinals team, 85.5. Now we talked about it with the Brewers. You got to get some wins somewhere because you're going to have 19 games against the Pirates. You're going to have 19 games against the Cubs, and you're going to have 19 games against the Reds. So 85.5, is that you think that's a little tall for this Cardinals team that won 90 last year, but on the heels of a 17-game winning streak? So
yeah, I think they're probably going to get to 83 or 84. I just don't see them getting much past that, even with the rest of the Central.
Okay, all right. Tyler O'Neill, you think this kid can hit? You think he can bop?
Strikes out a ton, but he's
that's what I was going to say. He's another Renfroe, whereas he likes to generate a lot of wind.
Big wind energy guy, huge.
What do you think about Mike Schilt getting canned? Do you think can a manager really be that toxic?
I don't think Schilt was the problem. Not to jump over you there, Scott. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I like Schilt as a manager. I thought he did. What was he supposed to do last year? They pulled off a miracle run in September. They made the playoffs. They lost in a nail biter walk-off home run to the Dodgers in the play-in wild card game. I don't consider that season a loss. I think that was actually kind of a win because they really rallied the troops and had a great second half.
Now the word is he was toxic in the locker room. That was the deal.
Yeah, he was so toxic. They won 17 in a row in September.
I know.
I don't know what that means.
I guess
and now you're bringing in a guy. Marble has no experience as a manager.
Right.
I mean, what do we know about this guy? Do we know anything about him?
No, I don't.
I was just saying, I just clicked on Baseball Reference and it says page can't be found. I mean, he was born in '86.
Do you think Wainwright has a hard time listening to his manager when he's 4 years older or 5 years older?
I always wondered about that. With Tomlin had that same thing when he was first hired. He had some grizzled veterans on that Pittsburgh team, and I always wondered about taking. It's like working with you, right, Shell?
Mm-hmm. I'm just imagining like Andrew Whitworth taking like advice from Sean McVay, and he's
Right.
like, "I was 7 when you were born."
That's a real good example.
What are you talking about?
Got gray hair and shit. Yeah, that's it is kind of a curiosity. Now this is a Cardinals team. They play baseball the Cardinals way, guys, and that means pitching and that means defense. And they lived up to it last year, especially on the defensive side. This first team that ever had 5 Gold Glove winners: Goldschmidt, Tommy Edman, Arenado, O'Neill, and Bader in the outfield. So pitch to contact takes on whole new meaning when you have a defense like that, eh?
Yeah, that whole concept that you're talking about with the age reminds me of Law and Order, where Lenny Briscoe talks to Ray Curtis, and he goes, "I got shoes that are older than you."
Yep, absolutely.
And ties too.
All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Cubs team that started the.
But you guys never said. Did you agree with over or under on those numbers? On that number?
I'll take a slight lean on the under there.
I found an 84.5 at -110. I'm actually going to lean over. I know that this team has definitely, I wouldn't say improved over the offseason, so to speak. The Cardinals just find a way. And I know that that's really a non-quantifiable reason, but they've had an 86-plus win pace in 12 of the last 14 seasons. So historically speaking, they've gone over this number with ease. Yep. Flaherty only made 15 starts last year. Mikolas only made 9 starts, so they should end up pitching a little bit more. Flaherty, I know, is on the shelf potentially until mid-May. They also got Corey Dickerson, so he might rotate with Pujols in the DH spot with lefty-righty matchups. I'm going to pick the Cardinals to find a way, because they always do. But 84.5, yeah, I feel like they're going to end up with 86. It's going to be close one way or another.
I'm scrolling through the rest of the division. I'm going to change my answer.
It's so weak. It's so weak. The bottom half.
It just is like, okay, so they get 84 if they go under. Like, well, I'm looking at these other teams like, well, who the fuck's going over then? So I guess we'll find out eventually. But yeah, I'll take a slight lean over 84.5.
I'm going with the over. I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they'll end up with 86, give or take.
Yep. Tim, he's exactly expressing my rationale. He's going over because they still have 19 games against Cubs, Reds, and Pirates. Yeah, you got 57 games against three teams that may not be that good. So let's talk about one of them here in the Cubs. 75.5 is their number, plus 1,100 to win the division. Fire sale last year for the Cubs. They got rid of pretty much everybody, at least their day-to-day players. Still have Kyle Hendricks, of course, out there in the starting rotation. They've added Marcus Stroman, Wade Miley, and they still have Alec Mills, and they picked up Drew Smyly.
Just to go quickly, do any of us actually like the over? Because I don't.
I think that Chicago will get close to 500. I think you have to figure they did bolster the lineup by getting Seiya Suzuki from the Hiroshima Toyo Carp.
Well, he was the main Japanese prospect, so good job by Chicago for snagging him.
Yeah, you still got Wilson Contreras in there.
For now.
I don't think he'll move anytime soon. I mean, they had a chance to move him last year and didn't. I mean, I'll miss Javier Baez, of course, but, talk about a guy that can generate wind. Baez was one of them. And they still got a lot of young guys that are on the way up. Nico Horner's acquitted himself fairly well in his time up with the team last year. I think 75 is a bit low. I mean, they won 71 games after dumping all those guys last year.
Well, I'm going to have to interrupt you there, because when they dumped everybody, they won it maybe like a 40-something win pace. Like, they were awful post-trade deadline. So a lot of those wins were, let's just say, front-loaded when they had Rizzo by.
But they also tanked before they traded all those guys. So
I'm just saying, once everyone was traded, they were disastrous in September. They were
quick awful. Reminder, they got rid of Schwarber, Rizzo, Baez, Bryant, and Kimbrel.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't get rid of Schwarber last year. Schwarber was already in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I mean, that's
the others still stand. But this is going to be the first season in a while that they're missing the big three that they had in the lineup. I do acknowledge they made some decent moves. I don't mind getting Stroman and Miley. I think that's a decent,
That's just that they got Miley for nothing.
Yeah, I'm saying it's not bad. Smiley's a high ERA guy, but he's okay. And they got VR. They got Andrelton Simmons to help out the defense at shortstop. So they made some moves. I'm still going with the under, though. I don't think this team is very good, just overall. I think they might trade Contreras if they're selling. at the deadline. Their bullpen's still brutal, right? I mean, their bullpen has been an issue for years.
Yeah.
Well, they added some arms in the bullpen. You got David Robertson, who's closed before. You got Michael Givens, who closed in Baltimore. You got Daniel Norris, who they picked up, who will probably be a swing guy, I would imagine.
I'm sorry, you got some names there, but I mean, Robertson was out of the league. He was on the Olympic team. Like, they brought him back into Major League Baseball, but I mean, he hasn't been relevant in years. I just don't think the Cubs are very good. I think it's going to be close.
All right, we're going to pick up the pace here, boys.
Yeah, I think they're going to end up selling some guys at the deadline.
73.5 for the Reds, 1,400 to win the division. They have some pieces there. They have India, Tyler Naquin, obviously, Joey Votto, Moustakas hopefully will be healthy.
Since you want to speed it up, I'm going under.
Okay, all right.
I agree because look, they traded Eugenio Suarez, they traded Jesse Winker
left in free agency.
Yeah, Tucker Barnhart they got rid of as well.
Yep.
Right.
Castellanos.
I'm waiting for them to trade Luis Castillo.
Miley's gone.
He's Miley's gone. Castellanos gone. Winker, Suarez, like you said.
Yeah. Votto had basically an MVP year, which nobody saw coming, and you expect him to come down to earth a little bit. But when you trade that many pieces, and Cincinnati's had a history of rebuilding kind of frequently, they might blow the whole thing up anyway. I think they'll win probably 70 games.
I mean, I'm just looking at what they're projecting their starting five to be. It's Maile, and then Vladimir Gutierrez, who was decent last year in times, and then River San Martin, then Hunter Green, and their fifth guy is a non-roster invitee, Nick Lodolo.
Well, they're starting the season with Castillo on the IL and with their projected closer, Sims, also on the IL. So they're going to be missing some pitchers to start. I have to like the under.
Their rotation is going to be Castillo, Molly, Minor, Gutierrez, and San Martin. That's going to be their regular rotation when everybody gets
until they deal Minor in like 2 weeks because
I'm going with the under.
Okay,
I agree. I'm sticking with the under there too.
I'm going to go the other way. Just because the wins have to come from somewhere, and if I've got the under in the Cubs. Spoiler alert, I'm probably not going to take the over on the next team. So the wins have to come from somewhere in that division. I'll give a slight lean to the over. I think
that's why I like the over on the Cardinals, because, spoiler alert, I got the under on the final three teams. I got the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates on.
They have to come from somewhere. Reds won 83 last year. Give me 76, 77 this season.
Okay.
IC says it likes the over in the Detroit Tigers. We're going to get there in just a minute, my friend. All right, so speaking of not spending much time, anybody have anything nice to say about the Pittsburgh Pirates? 65.5, 3,500 to win the division.
Something nice. It's my best bet on the under.
Okay.
I think they're losing 100 games.
Yeah. I say the best bet is, at least you can get a Permanente Brothers sandwich.
Get the coleslaw off my sandwich, please.
I didn't say you had to get coleslaw on the sandwich. I'm just saying,
Is that positive? O'Neal Cruz is supposed to be pretty good. I don't know when they're actually going to call him up, but he might help him a little bit. But when your projected number one starter is potentially Jose Quintana, I'm penciling you in for 100 losses.
That's a brutal rotation. Quintana, Wilson, and
really?
Yeah, that's not good.
He was like the worst pitcher in baseball last year. How the hell is he potentially your number one starter?
They picked up Vogelbach from Seattle. They got Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds, actual baseball player. So we'll see if they.
And Brian Hayes, has potential.
They also lost Moran, who was one of their better hitters last year.
Morello said they ain't losing 100. 99.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking there. You know what? I'll agree with both you guys. They don't win 65.5, but maybe they don't lose 100.
Okay. Yeah, they can go 63 and 99.
Talk about threading the needle there. So yeah, let's do that. As far as who we like to win the division, do you want to lay 180 or so with Milwaukee?
The Cardinals are the only other team you can consider.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned before, I'm leaning over on the Cardinals because the rest of the division's so weak. I didn't like their offseason. They got worse. I mean, Kim, we talked about going back to Korea. He was good for them. Yeah. And they lost a couple of other guys, but I'm going to go with the Brewers because I do think at full strength, this team is the best team in the division, and I don't think it's really close, to be honest.
Give me pitching. I hate to lay 180 on a division, but I just, you won't see many divisions where there you have two guys, you have two teams, and then you have three teams that are all in double digits. So
And
You know
Schilt, I
what?
thought, was good. So you have an unproven 35-year-old manager. I'll look elsewhere for my futures.
I agree. Chris?
Yeah, I have to agree too. As much as I hate Milwaukee, the team that I would hate the most being a Cubs fan would be St. Louis. And it would be wrong to try and back the Cardinals for anything other than finishing in the basement. And since I can't do that, since we've got the Pirates in the division, I'll have to lean towards the Brewers winning.
Yeah, Cubs fan hating the Cardinals is just, I mean, you have to do it, but you're so not on equal footing there. The Cardinals have the second most world championships. They have the most of anybody in the National League. And I don't know. Good luck, bud. Cardinals fans, greatest fans in baseball. Just ask them.
Yeah, I lived outside of St. Louis for 4 years. So I'm familiar with the concept.
Of the greatest fans in baseball?
Yeah, of course, they also tell you that Mike Shannon was a good announcer. So there's that.
Absolutely true.
He's almost as good as Hawk Harrelson.
You could put it on the board, buddy. Hey, speaking of Hawk Harrelson, how about those Chicago White Sox? 91.5 is their win total, minus 165. This team can flat fucking hit the baseball, guys.
They can hit the football too.
Yeah, they can. Anderson, Robert, Abreu, Moncada, Jimenez, Randall, Gavin Sheets, Josh Harrison, and Garcia. Show me the weak spot in that lineup.
Josh Harrison.
Josh Harrison.
I mean, that's the main takeaway. It was supposed to be Madrigal, but of course he got shipped off in the Kimbrel trade.
Right. So they've got Liam Hendricks closing. They got Kimbrel as your setup guy, as well as Austin Bummer and Joe Kelly. Picked up Kendall Graveman. And
you also mentioned Kelly. He's also a new addition, of course.
Yep. Yeah.
Do they really need 85 different closers? I mean, Graveman was closed before. And
when Kimbrel blows up, you need some backup options.
Well, but that's why you have Hendricks.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm completely sold on the rotation. You got Lance Lynn, Giolito, Dylan Cease, Keuchel, and Michael Kopech, who is, I guess we can, a little bit of the shine off of his star as a brilliant prospect, as he's battled injuries, spent a lot of time in the bullpen.
Yeah, is he going to actually start this year? Because he was good in the bullpen. It wouldn't surprise me if the White Sox at some point during the year might pivot and might use him as a seventh inning leverage guy.
But I mean, then who are you going to stick in there? Lopez again?
That's the one. I don't know. But Kopech, we haven't really seen him go any distance in his entire career.
Right. But I'm looking at the other option that you have in long relief, and nobody wants to see Vince Velasquez start a game that means anything.
Yeah, that's very true. And there's going to be some time on the IR for that pitching staff.
Yeah.
And my question, Lynn. Yeah, my other question is, how long will Dallas Keuchel hold the starting job? I mean, he wasn't all that great last year.
Is Giolito actually good?
I don't know, man. That was a weird career. He started off, and this is literally true. The only team he did well against was the Royals, and then he became a real pitcher for 2.5 seasons.
Yeah,
and now it starts to look like he's back to the Giolito of old. I don't know how much confidence I have in him as a 2. Tim wants to know if he's crazy to take a spin on the Royals at 1,600.
There are worse long shots.
I think you're a year early, but you could see this young team coming together if they gel, they have some fun. If the pitching holds up, I think they're going to be able to hit the ball for a change. But they've got some boppers coming, and they've got some arms in the bull in the rotation. So we'll see. We'll talk about them here in just a second.
Yeah, to your point, Scott, Giolito in his career is 8-4 with a 3.43 earned run average, a 9.87 WHIP, 27 walks, and 98 strikeouts over 102.1 innings in 17 starts against the Royals.
By the way, you said the White Sox were 91.5?
91.5, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to interject. This is the best middle spot I have found for a preseason win total. I found 93.5.
Okay.
Available at minus 116 on FanDuel. Now, if you want to go for a middle, of course, you only have 2 wins to play with, but still,
it's a decent window for win totals.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest window you're probably going to find.
Agreed.
I like the under, 93.5. It's actually my best bet for the division. They won 93 games last season. I know that, of course, the team is relatively similar to last year's team. I think the rest of the division got better, though, and they really picked on the AL Central last year. But
did Cleveland get better?
No, Cleveland got worse. I think the other teams got better. And you can argue that Bieber was injured for about half the year, so he'll probably be pitching more often. But I think overall, most of the teams got better in the division. The White Sox, though, I'm not a La Russa guy. I don't trust the rotation that much. I like the under. I think 93.5 is too high.
Okay. Yeah, 90. I think 93.5 is a little tall. Best 3 picks. Yeah, let's go through these, Carl, and we'll lay them out for you here at the end of the show. It's kind of as we go through everybody, and I don't want to give too much away.
A couple of coin flips here for the win totals for the other teams.
I just don't see where wins are coming from for any other teams here. They won 93 last year. Yeah, I give a slight lead on the under as well. If you 93.5, I think that's a solid number. 91.5, I don't want to get involved with that.
Yeah, I see them with 90, something like that.
Okay.
I see them winning like 92, maybe 93.
I was going to say, I don't think La Russa added anything to that team last year, and with the rotation being in a little bit of flux, they have more holes than I'd like for a 94 projected win team based on win total, whatever.
Well, I think it's going to come down to rotation. They can hit if that rotation, if they underperform or get hurt. I think you could have problems there.
I don't trust the rotation. So
second betting favorite is the Twins at plus 400. I have a wrong win total. What do you guys have?
I see 81.5.
Okay, I wrote it down.
Yeah,
I wrote 90. I wrote 91.5, and I knew that wasn't right. Yeah, 81.5 plus 400 to win the division. They gave the big deal to Buxton. He hasn't shown an ability to stay healthy. They signed Carlos Correa. I'm not really sure why they did that.
They're going to flip him.
Well, I guess that doesn't make any sense from a monetary standpoint. But what?
Why not?
Why not?
You take him on for a couple years rental, and then you potentially trade him off for prospects.
Well, because you're paying him a shit ton of money. You don't.
Yeah, for 1 year.
What are they paying him? $30 million?
34, I think.
You want to pay $30 million for 4 fucking prospects?
I'm just saying. If you're the Twins and you want to go through a rebuild,
nobody
could have been worse.
But I mean, technically, are the Twins rebuilding? I mean, they made that trade. They got rid of Donaldson so they could get Correa.
They could be if everything hits the fan.
No,
so that's why they have the opt-outs. They have some outs in the.
They're not rebuilding at all. They signed Sonny Gray. They signed Dylan Bundy. They signed.
They got Polanco, and they still have Polanco and Sano and Luis Arez, who is a guy who can hit that nobody talks about.
Good average guy.
There's no more Randy. What was the guy's? What was
Dobnik? Yeah, Randy Dobnik.
Dobnik. No more Dobnik, man. That's a shame.
I like the over
last year in AAA too. You like the over for the Twins? 81.5.
See, I said the potential selling point as a fallback scenario, but at that point, the win total is already going to be dead. They got Correa. They ended up getting Gray, as you said before. They've made moves. So clearly, they're viewing last year as an anomaly, and they became serious buyers during the offseason. They got Gary Sanchez, who I don't like, but they got Urshela. I like him as a player. The Twins' issue last year was pitching. They allowed 834 runs, which was the second most in the AL. They also got Bundy, which is going to help the rotation. I like the moves they made. It's still a weak division as a whole. I like the over because I do think they can find a way to end up over 500.
Let me tell you something. This Ober and Jax, they are going to give up some fucking bombs.
Ober's not bad. I think he can be okay.
And don't forget, they also just signed Chris Archer today or yesterday.
Yeah.
The experimental cheap piece.
This is an over team for me as far as game to game goes.
Yeah,
I like the under on their win total. I think this is a team that's taking a step backwards. That pitching staff is going to struggle. They got nobody in the bullpen except for their closer. I like Taylor Rogers a little bit.
Well, but you got to remember, for them to take a step backwards, they only won 73 games last year.
Well, true. Yeah, that's a good point. They really took their step backwards last year. I think I meant they took a step backwards. I think as far as their talent goes. I just don't see it. We've seen this team before. Kepler's a good player. Sano is very solid. Again, when Buxton's good when he can stay healthy.
Yeah, that's been a big issue, like you said.
Yeah,
same thing with Correa because he's injured all the time too. But
very true.
I don't know. I don't mind. I don't mind them buying during the offseason to make some moves to help address the pitching staff and the rotation. I'm leaning over.
Chris?
I can see him getting to 82, 83 wins just because I know that some of those teams are improved, but like we said, Cleveland took a step back. And, they're still going to play teams like Baltimore a bunch of times. Yeah. And with the way interleague play is, I'm not sure which division the Central's playing this year.
Right.
But you might be able to steal some wins there if you catch a fortunate team like you get to play the Marlins.
I'm with you. 82 wins, 83 wins, whatever, something like that.
I'm under that. No way this team plays 500 baseball.
Scott will eat his straw hat.
Let's move on like a mule. Let's move on to the third betting favorite here. This is Detroit Tigers. Win total 78.5 plus 700 to win the division. Again, I'm a sucker for pitching. This is a great rotation. They bring in our Eduardo Rodriguez to anchor the top of that staff. Casey Mize, Skubal Pineda, and Matt Manning. I like what they're doing. I think they're going to have enough bats this year.
Got Baez.
They brought Baez in. I think these guys have another year. I think Badu is going to be a real hitter. You got him at the top of the lineup. By the way, I still don't understand if your last name is Badu, how you don't name your kid Yabba Dab. But that's just me. Brought in Jonathan Scope. He played with them last year.
Scope was there last year, but they brought in Barnhart.
That's right. They brought in Tucker Barnhart. We talked about him from the Reds.
Now, do either of you guys think Spencer Torkelson's going to make the team?
Make the team? Yeah, why not? Maybe. I don't know.
You think
he'll be on the roster at some point?
Yeah. I don't know that. I don't know that they don't play with his service time, but he'll be. I think he'll be with them.
That's true. The ever popular manipulation of service time.
I don't know how they changed that with the new contract. So maybe it's not as much of a deal, but they didn't seem to be willing to give much room there.
I found 77.5.
Yeah, so did I. I have that.
I'm going over. You might argue the team overachieved last year, and I know that the manager was involved in a cheating scandal. I really like Hinch as a manager. I think he's really good at his job. So if I think that you can outmanage other teams during the course of a game and you got more talented during the offseason, I like the over.
By the way, Carl, I know you're waiting on our best three picks. This is one of mine. The over 77.5. I think this Tiger squad is ready to take a step forward this year.
I can see them going over as well. The one concern that you have is, will guys like Heimer Candelario ever, show up and play decent baseball? He was a hot prospect when he was traded by the Cubs back in 2017. He hasn't really panned out. And what are you going to get out of Miguel Cabrera?
Well,
I mean, he'll be 39.
I believe they're on the hook for 32 this year and 33 next year for Miguel Cabrera.
It's awful. But
yep.
It's almost like the Chris Davis deal, which I'm sure you guys.
That's now the new Bonilla deal, because he's going to be getting paid till like 2040. But I like the over. I think they'll finish 81, something like that.
Don't tell Lenny that you like the Tigers. Will he think that's a jinx, or does I don't understand?
No, his confidence will just be too far through the roof.
Oh, okay. Get the big.
I'm disappointed that they're going to move Fulmer into an eighth inning role.
Well, they tried him in the rotation. His arm kept falling off, so they tried to.
But I mean, Chase Anderson getting signed, that's not a.
They gave him the Kerry Wood treatment.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Very true. Don't forget they got Riley Green coming too.
Yeah,
right.
Very good outfielder. He's a top 10 prospect, not just for the Tigers, but for everybody. All right.
Well, I think got shafted by a lack of run support last season.
He wasn't bad in the second half.
I'll go to his head. Yeah.
Yeah, they just never seemed to score runs when he was on the mound.
Very true. All right, so let's talk about a team I think we're all going to agree took a step backwards. That's going to be the Cleveland Guardians. 76.5 is their win total. I didn't even put him on the chair today. It doesn't matter. You can see out the window. 76.5 plus 1,000, 10-1 to win the division.
I'm on the under.
It's great. It's a good pitching staff. Bieber Savali, calm down, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bieber Savali, Zach Plesac, Kyle Quantrill, Tristan McKenzie. Is Tristan McKenzie the best 5 in the league?
He's up there.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be in the top couple at least. But you look at the lineup, and like you said, it's a dumpster fire outside of Jose Ramirez, who they've apparently talked about trading.
Yeah.
And if they do, then you basically have nothing.
They didn't extend him, so I think he is on the market.
You guys were right, by the way. It goes to Detroit Lenny's head. He's already saying they're going to win the division. Bronco Devil says the AL Central plays the NL West. Oh, that should go well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, then
A couple of bad teams in there.
I
The
did
Diamondbacks.
actually know that because I was looking at the Royals schedule because I know they played the Dodgers.
Yeah.
well, yeah, sure. You get the Snakes, so I mean, at least you have that.
I
Since
see
you-
since he's got the over at 76.5, paying 160.
That's a lot of juice. That's a lot of juice for a win total.
I was gonna say you want to pay
being
160. You want to look around and find a 77 or 77.5 for a reasonable price.
Yeah, for win totals, I would rather just take 110. Honestly,
Well,
160 is
Yeah,
pretty
my bad.
rough because it could blow up in your face either way. I don't
I'd be
wanna
happy
pay
with
160.
I'd be happy with 120 or 130.
Yeah.
We're
all in the under for Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the best thing I can say about this, they have a great rotation. They have a great closer in Class A.
They can't hit. They got a bottom 5 lineup in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, how many games can they realistically win 2-1 or 3-2 without their bullpen blowing it and giving up 6 runs in an inning or something?
Yeah, well, it's hard to get to the closer. Class A, 471 of his 1,057 pitches were 100 plus. That was the most in the league by far. We'll see. I want to see this kid Straw play. He's fast there at the top of the order, but even if he turns out to be good,
I saw him play it when he was at Houston. He's kind of a punch and Judy hitter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why he's at the top of the lineup. But I think 76.5. I'm playing the under there.
Yeah, I can see. But I'm thinking like 73 and 89, and it reminds me of Major League 2 when Parkman comes out there, when Vaughn comes out, and he's like, new haircut, same dead arm, and that basically sums up Cleveland.
Yep, absolutely. So we have just one more team to get to on our show today, and that's going to be the Kansas City Royals. 74.5 is their win total, plus 1,600 to win the division.
I didn't know they still had a team.
How about that? It's a shame you guys in Buffalo there lost your team after just a half a season last year.
To be fair, they were considered back in the 80s before they went to, or the early 90s before they went to Colorado, which makes more sense. I get Denver's a bigger metropolitan area for sure.
Anybody know who led the minor leagues in home runs last year?
Bobby Witt Jr.
He did not. MJ Melendez.
Okay.
And he's the heir apparent to Sal Perez. He'll be up this season. Nick Prado's going to be up this season. Of course, Bobby Witt, I wouldn't be surprised. I believe he's going to break camp with the big league team.
What kind of numbers did Melendez put up? Because I'm familiar with the name. I didn't see a lot of his
41 home runs between double and triple A.
So does that make Perez the DH when they call up the new kid?
Yeah, they've kind of got a glut at DH / first base because they've got Santana. And they've got Hunter Dozier that they don't really know what to do with, so they're going to have to make some moves here.
So they're going to ship Dozier, right?
I think that's right. If you can get somebody to take him, he's not on a very friendly deal. They signed him to a pretty big contract here.
Yeah, he's also not very good. That's a separate story.
Here's my problem. I love
story for another show.
I love this lineup. Nicky Lopez is going to play shortstop when Alberto Mondesi is not playing shortstop. They've got him as the DH. I don't know how long that's going to last. But he's a decent fielder. We'll see if they end up putting Witt back in the outfield. It's going to.
What about O'Hearn? How is he going to factor in?
That's the other. That's the other one that creates that logjam at first base. So first base is going to be Nick Prados probably starting next year. So it's what they do with O'Hearn, what they do with Santana, what they do with Hunter Dozier. It'll be kind of curious to see. The rotation.
I'm just curious, as a Royals fan, what you thought of Benintendi after you guys got him last year.
I liked him. I thought he finished strong. I didn't really love him to start, but he's been solid. He's a good fielder. He's no Alex Gordon out there in left field, but
he's a doubles guy, right?
Yeah, he's a doubles guy. He's not gonna bop for you. But I'm okay with Benintendi. The problem is going to come in the rotation. You've got Greinke, Keller. And then you've got the young guys of the draft of 2017, Bubic, Singer, and Daniel Lynch. And this team is going to go about how the young guys go. If those guys lock it down in their second full year, well, Singer really had COVID year was his first year. But if those guys can lock it down, then I think this team can compete for a wild card spot, perhaps. They always seem to do well at putting together a bullpen out of spare parts. They've got Scott Barlow moved into the full-time closer's role. We'll see what happens there. He's a hippie, so you never know. But
see now, Fangraphs show that Carlos Hernandez was the 5th starter.
They might rotate here and there.
That might have been before they picked up Greinke.
Well, they show Greinke, Keller, Singer, Bubik, and Hernandez.
No, it's definitely going to be Daniel Lynch. I don't think they're going to start Lynch in the bullpen. They're going to give Lynch a start. They're going to give him a shot at starting. They may have
where the hell Lynch is on this. Oh, he's.
I was going to say he might start here in the minors.
They're showing him down at projected to be a AAA with Kowar and Zerpa.
I hope Kowar gets called up because he was my favorite fade last year. That was a hell of a play.
Yeah, he really was.
And him and pitches for Baltimore.
You got to remember it takes a while to learn how to pitch in the majors for these young guys.
An ERA of 90 for about a week and a half. It was great.
Yeah, Jackson Kowar was a good fade.
I like the over.
Yeah, I agree. I like yeah, that's another one of my favorite bets. I like the Royals over 74.5. Anybody see a better number?
I think that was the number that I had. I found 73.5 at minus 128 on FanDuel.
Shit, they make over 74.5 in spring training. I think
they might give up 700 runs by the time spring training is over too.
They're going to be an over team. I think this is a Royals team that traditionally struggles to score runs, but I think with this infusion of Bobby Witt has hit everywhere he's went, everywhere he's gone, he's hit. So
top 3 prospect in baseball,
and number 1 prospect in baseball according to Baseball Prospectus. So
I said top 3 because it varies depending on which projection thing you use.
We'll see.
Yeah, because Baseball America, I'm sure, has something different.
It's almost consensus top 3, but
Straw projected 4 homers, 25 stolen bases. Yep, it's all right.
I feel like Kansas City's in a weird spot where their win total's so low for a team that has a lot of talent. Now, of course, it's unproven talent.
Right. It's
young. Better than nothing.
Yep.
And with the youngsters, that in September, even during the out of contention phase, which they might be in, they always do pretty well in September when the young kids get playing time. So I think that helps.
No question about it.
And don't forget, Scott, you also got Mr. Amir Garrett, who likes to get in fights, so he'll get to rekindle his rivalry with Javier Baez on a nightly basis over there in the AL Central.
He's the 4th line enforcer that you need on a team, right?
Yeah, he's Bob Probert.
Yeah, they got Jake Brentz as well, Taylor Clark. Payamps did well last season in his limited duty. So Josh Stallman, he actually learned how to pitch a little bit last year because he lost a lot of velocity in the second half of the season, and actually had to learn how to pitch versus just throw. So I think that'll serve him well as he gets his velocity back this season. So,
is it a hot take for me having Minnesota coming in last place? Not Minnesota, sorry, Cleveland coming in last place in this division.
No, they're slotted 4th. So no, I don't think that's much of a stretch. They're slotted at what, 2 more victories than the Royals?
Yeah, your hot take would be if you said that the Pirates were going to finish 2nd.
Yeah, that'd be a hot take. Agreed. Buffalo suburb. Oh, okay, there you go. What do you guys think? Royals over 74.5. Everybody on that?
73.5. I'm on the over.
Yeah, I'm on the over.
3.5 somewhere. Okay.
It's minus 128 on FanDuel, but still, I'll take the over.
I'm fine with that. Royals team won 74 games last year, and they let a lot get away from them. I think they'll be better this season. All right, so let's recap here, boys, before we wrap it up. As far as the National League Central goes, somebody like a little bit of a spin on the Cardinals there?
No,
not really. I the over the win total's my version of a spin.
Okay, we all like the Brewers there. We're all chalky. And your favorite win total from the NL Central?
Well, I know Rachel's going to say it anyway, so I'll just take it for him and say the Pirates under 65.5.
I think they'll lose a hundo.
Okay, I probably agree with that. I don't hate the Brewers over 88.5 either. I think that number's a little bit low. Somebody's got to win a bunch of games. I think somebody's going to win 90 plus in that division. I think it's going to be the Brewers.
Yeah, they can get to 91 or 92.
Yeah, I think that's about right. So no other. You're not looking at anybody else. No Cardinals, and obviously nobody else, right?
I was tempted by the under with the Reds because I do think they might end up shipping off Castillo, and they lost a bunch of offensive pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But that number is low to begin with.
Yeah, so if you get any lower, you get down towards Pirates territory.
American League, can anybody challenge the White Sox?
I say no, but I like the win total under.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if anybody's going to challenge, it's going to be because the White Sox regress and somebody gets hot. I don't know if Minnesota or Detroit have it in them this year. Like you said, Kansas City's probably a year off.
I'll give you a hot take. If it's not the White Sox, it'll be the Tigers. It's not going to be the Twins.
Okay.
That's my hot take. All right. So I've given 2 of my 3 favorite bets. I'll take the Pirates under. 3 favorite bets, Scott.
I got the under with the Pirates. I have the under with the White Sox, especially at 93.5. That's a hell of a middle if you want it, but I think that number's too high. And I am going to go with the Royals over. I think that line is too low. This team, talent-wise, should probably win at least 77.
Chris?
I agree with Scott about the Pirates. I'm going to say the Tigers go over 77.5. I think they'll probably be right around 500, maybe 82 and 80 or something like that.
All right, very good.
And like I said, I'll take the Royals too to go over.
Okay, very good, guys. All right, that's going to wrap it up. We're still 5 minutes long here. So again, apologies to Lenny. Hopefully Lenny will give us a pass because we're saying good things about the Tigers. So we're going to swing it right over to Lenny, Nick, and Tim. You guys, thanks for watching this. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow. Finish it up with Tim Earl. As I guarantee you, we're gonna have to stop on time tomorrow because Tim has to do his show at 5.
Yeah, he just won't show up.
Yeah, there you go. So check that out. We'll be doing our regular show tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as well as the final breakdown as we do the National League West and the American League West. Chris, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it. Scott, have fun at the Nets game tonight. Enjoy it. You guys have a great day. Good luck on all your plays. We'll be back to do it again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central on Back to the Window.